Did you know that 80% of all billion-dollar companies have had two or more founders? That's right, Steve Jobs had Steve Wozniak, Larry Page had Sergey Brin, and Bill Hewlett had Dave Packard. And even Jeff Bezos, who many think of as a solo founder, co-founded his company with his wife and then quickly built a solid team around him, so even he didn't build the Amazon empire alone. But finding the right co-founder isn't just about grabbing anyone willing to join you. I've seen countless startups fail because founders either went solo or worse, partnered with the wrong person. So in this video, I'm going to break down exactly what to look for in a co-founder and how to find them, whether you're a business-oriented founder looking for a technical founder or vice versa. So let's dive in. Hi there, if you're new to this channel, my name is Ash Maurya. I'm an entrepreneur and author and the creator of the popular one-page business modeling tool, Lean Canvas. On this channel, I share systematic strategies and techniques for starting and growing a business. So let me start by breaking down 3 compelling reasons why having a co-founder dramatically increases your odds of success, especially if this is your first startup. First, we all only get 24 hours in a day. While it's absolutely possible to start building a startup by yourself, there inevitably comes a point when progress hits a wall because there's a limited number of working hours in a day. Plus, getting a startup up and running requires both inside the building activities like building a product and outside the building activities like talking to customers. You can be in 2 places at once, and trying to juggle both types of work by yourself spreads your already limited resources even thinner. When you're juggling product development, customer conversations, marketing, and sales, something has to give. Either your progress crawls to a halt or you start cutting corners where you shouldn't. A co-founder here gives you leverage by helping you multiply your impact. For first-time founders especially, this can be the difference between getting stuck and breaking through. Next, finding good ideas requires a diversity of perspectives. We all have our unique skill sets and worldviews that we use to make sense of the world, but when left unchallenged, this can lead to something I call the curse of specialization. And this is what it looks like. When faced with the problem, it's not atypical for technical founders to gravitate towards build solutions, for designers to gravitate towards design solutions, and marketers, well, towards marketing solutions. In other words, when you've been trained to specialize in hammers, everything starts looking like a nail. But good ideas, especially in a startup where you're trying to create something out of nothing, typically don't originate from a single perspective. They require a diversity of perspectives. The best way then to find good ideas is to have lots of different ideas. Reasonably smart people can rationalize anything, and I find that founders are especially gifted at this. And having a co-founder helps break you out of your own cognitive biases and keeps you grounded in reality. Now, my final reason for having a co-founder is for morale and emotional support. Because let's face it, startups are roller coasters. One day you're convinced you're building the next big thing, the next day a customer cancels, your product hits a technical wall, or an investor passes, and suddenly you're questioning everything. Having a co-founder can help balance these ups and downs and keep you going. This emotional support isn't just a nice to have, it's often what keeps you in the game long enough to win. Okay, so if you're convinced that you need a co-founder, your next question is probably, what makes an ideal co-founder? Finding the right co-founder isn't about settling for whoever's available, it's about finding someone who complements your superpowers. The biggest mistake I see first-time founders make is looking for a clone of themselves. When they're drowning in work, they think, I need another developer, or I need someone who sells exactly like me. This is usually exactly wrong. What you need is someone with different skills and perspectives to counter your curse of specialization. Here's how I do this. I visualize a complete team as having 3 core roles: hacker, designer, and hustler. If these terms don't resonate with you, think developer, designer, rainmaker, or builder, designer, marketer, or technical, creative business. Here's what each role brings. The hacker role is the builder. If you're creating a product, you will need someone with strong product development skills on your team. Prior building experience is crucial here, along with expertise in the specific technology you envision using. Design for me goes beyond aesthetics to also include usability. Your product isn't just a collection of features, it's user flows and experiences. You need someone who can create interfaces and experiences that match how your customers think. And finally, the hustler role covers sales and marketing. You need someone who can put themselves in your customer's shoes, craft compelling messages, and close deals. Good writing and communication skills are essential here, plus understanding of metrics, pricing, and positioning will go a long way. The next question you're probably wondering is, how do you fit 3 roles across 2 people? The answer is that most founders typically have 2 superpowers, a primary and a secondary. The key to building a successful founding team is covering all 3 roles, where each co-founder brings a unique primary superpower and overlaps on at least one secondary superpower. This overlap is critical for creating a common connection or shared language between the co-founders. Let's consider Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak. They both met each other at HP in 1971. Jobs was in high school at the time, and Wozniak was working at HP. They bonded quickly over their love of electronics, which was the source of their overlapping superpower. I'd categorize Steve Wozniak's primary superpower as hacker and his secondary superpower as designer, and Steve Jobs' primary superpower as hustler and his secondary superpower as designer. You can see how this overlap and passion for building well-designed products gave them a shared purpose while allowing each of them to bring additional different strengths to the table. In other words, they both needed each other to build Apple. I've applied this simple framework in my startups, and you can too. Here's how. Start by identifying your number 1 and number 2 superpower. For instance, my number 1 superpower is hustler, and my number 2 superpower is hacker, which can be written as hustler-hacker. If I were looking to add a co-founder, I'd complete my team by bringing on a hacker-designer or a designer-hacker. By deliberately seeking skills that fill your gaps rather than duplicate your strengths, you'll build a much stronger founding team. The next thing you need in a co-founder is alignment on a common mission. Beyond complementary skills, alignment on mission, to me, is non-negotiable. I've watched many promising co-founder relationships fall apart because one person wanted to build a lifestyle business while the other expected a venture scale company. Or one founder wanted to exit at the first decent offer while the other was in it for the long game. As a first-time founder, you might not have clarity on all these questions yet, and that's okay, but you need to have explicit conversations about what success looks like for each of you. Your minimum success criteria, or what's the smallest outcome that would make this worthwhile, your time frame, your expectations around work style, decision-making, and conflict resolution. At the end of the day, you both need to be playing the same game to win. If one co-founder is playing chess while the other is playing checkers, you're heading for conflict, no matter how perfectly aligned or complementary your skills are. Okay, so we have covered why you need a co-founder and what to look for in an ideal co-founder, but the most common question by far that I get is, how do you find the right co-founder? This is what most first-time founders struggle with. Where do you actually find this ideal person, and how do you make them quit their fancy or comfortable day job and come join you? So in the final section, that's what I'm going to cover. The first step is to start a lot earlier than you think. Now, this might sound obvious, but finding a co-founder almost always takes longer than you expect, so you need to start looking before you desperately need someone. If you're just beginning your entrepreneurial journey, start building relationships with potential co-founders now, even before you have a specific idea. Join startup communities, attend industry events, participate in online forums where like-minded people gather, like the one on Lean Foundry. The best co-founder relationships often develop organically over months or years. For first-time founders especially, your existing network is incredibly valuable. Former classmates or colleagues already know your work style and strengths. Next, date before you tie the knot. Finding a co-founder is more like marriage than hiring. You'll spend more time with this person than almost anyone else in your life during these intense startup years. To avoid a painful divorce, date before you commit. This means ideally having some prior working relationships, or even better, working together on side projects related to your startup. These experiences reveal how someone handles pressures and setbacks, communicates during disagreements, follows through on commitments, makes decisions when things are uncertain, which, as we know, is par for course in a startup. I remember coaching a first-time founder who was ready to split equity 50-50 with someone they'd only known for 2 weeks. After I convinced them to work on a small 2-week project first, they discovered their potential co-founder avoided tough conversations and disappeared when things got challenging. Imagine discovering that after you've incorporated and divided equity. Next, in order to get someone to even commit to working with you on a side project, you will need to get good at getting others to see what you see. All startup ideas sound a little crazy at first, and so a common challenge first-time founders encounter is getting other people to see what they see. Having a shared overlapping superpower and mission is a helpful first step, but you need to additionally help them see the opportunity or business model behind your idea, the vision, and a path forward. You can't just pitch them building a great solution together, you have to pitch them a plan for building a great business model together. In my business model design course, I cover step-by-step how-tos for how to turn a big idea into a business model, how to formulate a solid go-to-market strategy, and how to pitch your idea to co-founders using a business model story pitch template. If you're interested in checking that out, I'll link that in the description below. By the way, your ability to pitch a compelling business model story isn't just for attracting co-founders, it's a skill you'll need to attract customers, investors, and advisors too. But no matter how exciting your idea and plan is, it's still very challenging to get someone talented to quit their comfortable job for your seemingly risky startup unless you have done this last thing. And that is de-risk your idea with some early traction. When non-technical founders tell me they're stuck because they can't get someone technical to join their startup or the other way around, I always tell them the exact same thing. Don't wait, move ahead on your own to get demonstrable early traction, and everything else will get easier after that. The true job of a founder is to systematically de-risk their business model, and the best evidence of a working business model is traction. Traction is evidence that people other than yourself and maybe your mom care about your idea, specifically paying customers. Now, wait a minute. How do you get to early traction without a co-founder or a working product? This might seem a lot like a chicken and egg problem, but it's not. Even if you can't build a full product by yourself, you can run customer interviews to validate the problem, create landing pages or deliver offers to test demand, use a demo cell build process to get pre-orders, and even secure letters of intent from potential co-founders. All these forms of traction are incredibly powerful when approaching potential co-founders. They show you're serious and that your idea has merit. I've seen many non-technical founders successfully attract technical co-founders because they'd already validated the market and even pre-sold the product. At that point, the technical challenge becomes much more appealing. It's not just building something speculative, it's building something that you know people demonstrably want. So if you're a business-oriented founder looking for a technical co-founder, show evidence of market demand and customer willingness to pay. And yes, even if you're a technical founder and can build the full product by yourself, my advice is still the same. And that is to adopt a traction-first versus a build-first approach. This is because, statistically speaking, most initial products fail to hit the right customer problem at the outset. And what's riskiest with most products today isn't building a working product, but rather ensuring that people will actually care and buy your product once it's built. And here's the counterintuitive bit. You don't need a working product to test demand for a product and even land paying customers. For more on how to do this, you should check out this video over here. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.